It's the only thing to do,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's to learn, right? We have to free ourselves from the darkness of our own ignorance. And you wouldn't call something a problem if you understood it. The problem is you don't understand it, right? That's why you're calling it a problem, right? You don't call things problems that you have complete comprehension of, right? So the process of freeing yourself from the pain and the misery of your difficulties and your problems is in, constantly cultivating a broader comprehension of the deeper, absolute truth of what's actually happening, right? And one of the things that I learned is that if I feel bad, if I'm unhappy, if I'm upset, if I'm disrupted or disturbed, the only thing that could do that is my ignorance. That's the only thing that creates misery is you slip into a sort of hopelessness of not being able to figure it out, and I just, for me, I've gotten to the place that life is school, right? You're not getting the promotion you want at work. That's school. Get it, figure it out. Yeah. Someone in your family is sick. That's school. That's like, life is the greatest teacher there is. You just have to be willing to learn and recognizing that your pain and your suffering is the thing that the universe is poking at. So you recognize that's where you're ignorant.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be having those struggles in those areas if you had a deep, broad comprehension of the fundamental realities of those situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so beautifully said. Again, as I was listening to you, I was thinking about how we're programmed to believe that life is for enjoyment.
Right.
But actually it's for education.
It's for education, yes, absolutely.
And we keep seeking enjoyment in the education.
Yes.
So we think we're in a candy shop, but we're in a classroom.
I call that the poisoned honey scenario, right? You're seeking enjoyment. You want something sweet and you don't recognize that honey's poisoned, right? It's gonna be sweet going down, but it's, the kickback on that thing is something terrible.
Yeah. And we see that in, what you're creating now. And I remember we talked about how you're amazing as the genie, and you were saying how you felt you got to be so much of you and in the character. But even with the release of Amend that just came out, like, I feel like we've talked about this concept before, and you brought it up. You were like, the sacred clown has always been the emblem and the symbol.
Yeah.
And again, it's God's gift where you get to entertain, make people laugh, but you want to help people grow through that.
Absolutely.
And that's really hard to do, but you do.
Yeah.
That's you. That's who you are. And tell us about how that's now coming through in the work you're doing, like how you've actually brought this into reality, because sometimes it can feel very heady. But you've really been working hard on taking it out of the head, into the heart, and into the world.
Yeah, and that was one of the things about Aladdin that was so defining for me, and that concept of the sacred clown. I had written that down in one of my books, 5 or 6 years ago. And it's like, at my core, it's either who I am or who I want to be, but it's in there. It's in there really deep. And in playing the genie, it was like, that I was at home, right? That combination of fun, light, silliness, and the imparting wisdom to Aladdin, right? I was like, that's who I want to be in the world. I want to be singing and dancing and being silly and playing and all of that, and then sneaking the ideas in, under the joy. But I had heard that, I think it was the Lakota Indians or something like that, the Native Americans.
Right.
They had the image of the sacred clown,
which is often considered negative.
Yeah, yeah. But it's like I connected to it. It's like, oh, that's right. That's what the singing and dancing and all of the joy and all of the smiling and all of that is for. It's just a beautiful conduit for the ideas. And that's just at my core. I'm happiest in that space.